What's up, everybody? It is your boy B, and I am back with part 2, where I'm about to take you on a ride into the dark side of maximum management. I'm talking about solitary confinement at FSP, where they have only 24 of these cells in the entire state of Florida. I'm talking about right above the death chamber, where they got old Sparky, the electric chair, where they got the lethal injection table. That's exactly where my cell was. I slept right above this. So what I want you to do is try to visualize this story. Try to picture yourself in this environment as I describe the whole atmosphere to you. Try to take it in, because for me, as I'm telling you this story, it's like I can just visualize myself there right now. So before we get into it, I'm going to need you to do me a favor. Get yourself some toothpaste and some toilet paper, because it's going to be a banger right here. Probably wondering what that's going to be for, but that's for the snack. Because when you're at maximum management, you're not getting any type of snack, and the hunger pains are going to hit really quickly. So if you haven't already done it, go back and watch part 1, where I described to you arriving at FSP, being marched off of the van all the way down the hallway and put into maximum management. A lot of people know it as Q wing or X wing, but in this entire wing, this cell block, there's only 24 cells like this, where you're behind 2 doors. You're behind a solid concrete wall with a steel door that has a little small window in the top of it with a flap that they can close, and then another set of like bars that make a wall inside of your cell. So you're in a concrete, solid block, concrete room. Just a block of concrete with steel bars, and then a door with no window. You get no sunlight. No light penetrates this room whenever they shut that door and they shut that flap. And as I was telling you in the previous video, one of the first things that I done when I got in this cell was measure out this cell. I don't care if it was from the front to the back, walking backwards, from the side to the other side. But I measured out this cell with my eyes closed, so that when they do shut that door and they turn off the light and it's pitch black, I can get up and make it to my toilet, or make it from the toilet to the bars or to my bunk. Wherever it is that I need to navigate in this room, I could do it with my eyes closed. So I can forget about that pitch black thing affecting me. It ain't going to happen. I'm going to be able to get around this room without banging my shin into the side of a stainless steel toilet. This happened before, trust me. That don't feel good. So here it is, I'm locked in this room, right? And you got to keep in mind, people have killed themselves back here on this wing countless times. You're probably not going to be able to Google search it, because all the stuff that happens inside of Florida State Prison stays inside of Florida State Prison, unless you got people like me making people aware and sharing their story with you guys. But trust me when I'm telling you, people kill themselves back here because the pressure of being back here completely closed off from the outside world. You're not getting on the telephone. You got no TV to watch. You're not getting any publications like a newspaper. You're not having your people send you books to read. The only thing you're going to have back here is some deodorant, some toothpaste, some little slither of soap, some toilet paper, some writing material, a security pin, security toothbrush. Did I say that a minute ago? And that's pretty much it. Religious material. You're not getting anything else back here. And you're totally just shut off from the world. I mean, when another prisoner, convict, walks down the wing, walks down the cell block, whatever you want to call it, they shut your door. You can't even see your neighbors that are around you, because when they're going to a shower or a medical call out or a classification or wherever it is that they might be going, you're not even going to see them walk by. They're going to shut the door. You're completely cut off too, except for the correctional officers or like medical staff, like if a psych nurse comes to check on you. Other than that, you're totally cut off from people. And that alone is just overwhelming for a lot of people, to the point that they actually take their life. So keep in mind, this is also a place where I'm going to put a link in this video right down below. There was a guy named Frank Valdez, very well-known case in Florida. While I was at FSP, I actually got to read the details of his death. And listen, this happened back there in maximum management. The man was in his cell, and 9 officers entered his cell and beat, stomped, kicked, broke, jumped on him, just brutalized this man to death. They murdered this man in his cell. 9 officers murdered this man. And do you know what the report said his injuries were consistent with? Being run over by a dump truck. For those of you that don't know, I went to prison for driving a dump truck where a man jumped off the side of it, fell off, and the back tires ran him over. And when they tell you that his injuries were consistent with being run over by a dump truck, trust me, the shit is not pretty, man, at all. So I can only imagine what in the hell were they doing to this man in that cell for his injuries that caused his death to be consistent with being run over by a dump truck. It gets crazy in maximum management. You know, I got one guy on the side of me, like I told you about in the first video, where he is just banging, screaming, kicking, making shit bombs, making piss bombs. He's just causing chaos 24 hours a day. So here it is. I'm in this cell in November. And if you don't already know, most people, when they think about Florida, they think, oh, just sunshine, palm trees, beaches. It's warm, right? Listen, northern Florida, wintertime, it gets down into the upper 20s. It might even get colder than that, but I know for sure it gets into the 20s. And you're inside this concrete building that when the temperature drops, the concrete gets cold. But here's the thing about maximum management. You're inside of a concrete building where your cell's inside of that, away from the exterior of the building, and then your cell again is inside of that. So you're inside of the inside of the inside of another building. You're not anywhere near where the sun is going to be hitting on the outside of the building and warming up that concrete when the sun does come up. You're inside of this block of concrete that when that temperature drops, you can't visualize it because you get no sunlight from the outside. You don't have a window in your cell, but you can feel the cold just permeating from the concrete going into your shower slides, because you're not getting any tennis shoes back here. You're going to be in just straight shower slides. And then when you're walking around on that floor and you just feel the cold coming through and just gripping your feet and your toes start to get numb, you curl up. Hey, it's brutal, to say the least. It sucks when you are cold 24 hours a day. And they do it for a reason. Because a cold man, typically, when he's freezing cold, guess what he's going to do? He's going to get on his bunk, put the blanket over him, lay down, and be quiet. He's going to lay there and shiver and ball up and just try to keep himself warm. He's not going to be up screaming, kicking, asking questions, raising hell. He ain't going to be up doing anything. So they intentionally wanted to stay cold. And they can't just control the temperature outside, but one thing for sure, they ain't fixing to blow a bunch of heat in there. What they do on maximum management is the opposite of putting heat in there. They don't have air conditioning in this building. But what they do have is right outside of your bars, in that vestibule, right outside of your cell bar, they got this vent that's about 2.5, maybe 3 feet wide. And this thing blows with such force that you would swear this thing's got a super duper turbo motor hooked up to it that's blowing all the air in the world directly into your cell. There's like a polar wind blowing in there. It's just like, man, does this thing ever stop blowing? What in the hell? I mean, you try to do shit, push-ups. You just try to get on the bars and like do some rows to work out. You try to do like shoulder presses. You try to do squats. You try to jog in place for hours and hours just to try to keep yourself warm or try to keep your mind elsewhere. But when that wind's blowing, that vent up top, man, that shit's brutal, man. So the guy next to me, Tommy Dwight England, the guy that was on death row, that initially slid his line out from under the door, told me to shoot my line, and introduced me to Siddha Yoga. The biggest pivotal point in my thinking. Tommy told me one day through the vent, he's like, bro, you got to catch one of these officers and get them to clog up your vent so that it's not blowing down there on your bunk or blowing in the middle of the cell. At least you can kind of warm up because you won't have this forced air just blowing on you with such force. It is just like, man, give me a break. And so when I first got here, There was not a single officer that walked this cell block that I could ask, hey, officer, is there any way that you could possibly help me out and block up that vent with some wet toilet paper? Because it is freezing in here. Forget about it. There was not a single one of them that was going to help me out. They were all pissed off at me, waiting for me to look wrong, say something wrong, act wrong, so they could run it on me. Because you can believe one thing, they'll treat anybody at that building like Frank Valdez. They'll come in there, beat you to pieces, beat you to death. They don't care who you are. Doesn't matter how big you are, how tough you are, how many people you've stabbed, how many people you've killed. They don't give a damn. When they come and they bring that squad and they all got them Ninja Turtle suits on, there's no win with that. I'm telling you right now. So I knew right now, I just got to bid my time. I got to sit back, be quiet, pay attention to what's going on, and wait until the time presents itself that I could possibly ask one of these officers to clog up that vent. Because that's the only interaction that you get when you're on maximum management. There's not a run around another prisoner working the wing. There's nobody. You're not coming out of your cell for a damn thing. You're locked in that cell 24 hours a day. But finally, as the officers, they do their shift change, they do their rounds. I started to notice one of them that peep off in the room. It was like, how you doing? Everything all right in there? Just making a little small chit chat. And when I noticed, I was like, all right, might have me an in right here. And one day I called him and I said, officer, is there any way that you could block my vent for me? I am freezing. I'm in here. I'm not causing you guys no problems. I'm chilling on my bunk. I'm just reading. I'm not doing anything. Hey, I'm just want to at least warm up a little bit. He said, I got you, man. No problem. So buddy leaves and I think he's coming back to clog up my vent. Man, this man did not come back for days. I was like, oh, damn. Yeah. So finally he comes back, right? He comes back, hits the vent, throws me some toilet paper up there. And what happens is he didn't close the vent all the way off. It was just like the portion that was blowing from the middle of the room over toward my bunk. He blocked off the other portion. Blocked it off where it would only blow into the other portion of the room over by the toilet. So much better. It was like I just won a damn lottery. It's like, whew, this is so much better. I can get out of my bunk and get out from under the blanket. I was getting up anyways, but it would always put you back in the bunk. So now I'm actually able to get up and do a few things. And so spending my time here in this cell, and now I know it intimately. I can navigate it well. I'm starting to know which officers that come by that I could possibly ask for something, another bar of soap because I've ran out, some more toothpaste because I've ran out. And now I'm starting to get to where I can exercise in the room a little bit more because it's not nearly as cold, right? And now I can run for hours at a time. I started practicing just jogging in place and taking and just transforming my thoughts, just visualizing myself up out of this cell. I could literally picture myself anywhere that I put my thoughts to. And it was crazy because it got to the point when you're just doing this for hours and you're visualizing something else, it'll get to a point where it's like you could just hear the sounds of the place where you're at, or you can feel the terrain under your feet. You could just be completely free from where you're actually at. And I was practicing that on a daily. But with a lot of exercise, whether you're doing push-ups or whatever it is that you're doing, you're burning calories. And one thing for sure, when they call chow time, that chow tray comes through the flap, man, you ain't getting a lot of food on that tray. Forget about it. And the food that does come on that tray, the shit is not going to be that good. Forget it. The food is not going to be that good. You're not going to get a lot of food. It's just all bad. And what do? It ain't like being on the compound where you tell your homeboy, hey, man, tighten up, man. Hook up the tray, man. Or you tell him, hey, what's up, man? You do tighten up, man. It ain't like that. It ain't like when you're walking down the chow line. Forget it. Your ass is locked in the cell. They come pushing a food cart down the cell, down the wing. Or the cell block. They come pushing the food cart and the officer gives you a tray and that's that. And if you raise hell, guess what? When this food tray comes through the flap, the next time, the shit might be empty. You get an air tray. Nothing on it. They've even been known to come in and hand you the tray and spit in it and hand you it. You can snap. You can do everything that you could possibly think of. Spit back at them, throw some shit at them, tell them, pop the door, let's run it, blah, 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 blah. You're going to lose. Period. Hands down, unequivocally. I don't give a damn who you are, what you're about. You will lose in that situation. So, what do you do when you're stuck in this room 24 hours a day? Wreck that 23-1. Hey, I get my hour outside. Forget it. That shit ain't happening in maximum management. What do you do when you're locked in here and you want to exercise, keep yourself fit, keep yourself moving? You don't want to lay down and just, they say a body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest. You don't want to just lay down and give up. So now that you're up, you're getting active and you're burning calories. Guess what happens? Your ass gets hungry because when that food flap comes, and it barely got some food on it, and you've been working out, guess what you got to do? You got to take this toilet paper, take this toothpaste, got the toilet paper. Just pretend like the toilet paper's up on the sink, the stainless steel sink, right? You just squeeze you some toothpaste on here. Let's see. Let me put it down here. So you just squeeze your toothpaste onto the toilet paper, right? Now, keep in mind, I'm not in solitary confinement, so I don't have to eat this shit anymore. But I want you guys to be able to visualize what I'm talking about. So, take that toilet paper, you put this little spread of toothpaste on it. And the way that I would like to do mine, this took a lot of taste testing to get this figured out, is once you put this toothpaste on here, I would let it just kind of like cake up, start to harden up on the top, like the outer layer of the toothpaste. That way when you go to tearing it apart, because you don't want to take this whole thing and eat it at one time. You're going to tear little pieces of it off. That's why I put like a little squirt on there, right? Because you just tear a little piece off where that squirt's at. You eat one little ball at a time. But if you do it right now, like if I was to tear this apart right now, it would just be a mess all over my hands, all over my fingers. So you let it harden up a little bit, cake up, you tear it off and eat it one ball at a time. Get you a little bit of water. You ain't got no cup. You ain't got no water bottle. You're going to be over here at this sink, this stainless steel sink, hitting the button. It's going to be dribbling a little bit of water out of the spout. And you got your hand up here, drinking like a damn bird or a dog. It's brutal, man. So, you learn real quick the things that you need to do to be able to survive the hunger pains, the mental anguish, the just complete desolation from everything that you know and love. Is desolation the right word? Separation. So you're completely separated from everything that you know and love. Anything that you were doing on the compound, wherever, you were running with your homeboys, or you were spending your time educating yourself, or you had a good job on the compound, or you had your family visits on the compound, you were into sports on the compound. Man, all that shit's over with. If you had a cell phone, listen, when you're in prison and you have a cell phone and it gets taken away, oh my God, that shit is brutal. You become extremely addicted to your cell phone in prison. But, and believe it or not, this back in 2007, hardly anybody had a cell phone, but I had one. That's another story though. So here it is, you're locked in this cell, desperately hungry. You're eating toothpaste that's just blanketed on toilet paper. Your clothes are just... Now here's the thing, the uniform change, most of the time when you're in solitary confinement, you get to change clothes about 3 times a week, like a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. When you're in maximum management, your ass might change once a week. And if you piss them off, guess what? Your clothing change might not come this week. And if it does come, you're going to get a little Pee Wee Herman wee man clothes that do not fit. They're way too small. Or you're going to get these gigantic uniform that just falls off at you. It's droopy and just falling off. And it's so damn cold in that cell that you want some type of clothes on you. So you don't want to piss them off. Trust me. And you can get all sweaty and working out. You think you're going to go wash your clothes? I made that mistake. Wash my clothes and put them up on the bars to dry them. Man, they got so damn cold in there. I'm sitting in here, my boxers shivering. It was like a damn wet chihuahua sitting on a damn iceberg. Freezing ass cold. So, forget it. You ain't washing your clothes back there. You're going to get sweaty in them, but you just got to put them back on and deal with the smell until you get some new clothes. And I'm telling you right now, it's brutal like that. Now, one of the other things, like I told you, you get no type of privileges. You don't get any telephone. You get no canteen. Forget about a TV. All that shit is done and over with. But you do get to come out and take a shower. But the way they're going to do that is they're going to holler shower time. And if you was one of them knuckleheads, or they think you was a knucklehead, or buddy just comes to work in a bad mood, this is what's going to happen. Shower time. They're going to come in front of you and say, oh, you don't want to shower? They're doing that for the camera. There's a camera out in the main hallway. You don't want to shower today? All right. And they mark y'all poop. You're standing at the door waiting to shower. Like, hey, man, hey. No, I'm trying to shower. No. Pass you right on up. So here it is. That one shower you might be getting gets put off again for another week. Here you are over here in this sink, this stainless steel sink that barely has any water coming out, trying to bird bathe yourself. Bird bath. Listen, man, bird bath on the compound, this shit's not too bad. You can make it happen because you got little ways to, like, you break an ink pen, jam it into the, where the faucet. So it's just like a little hole in the stainless steel sink. You jam this ink pen tube in there. It makes the water shoot up a little bit higher. When you're in maximum management, you have zero access to an ink pen tube that you can stick down in here to make the water come up. So this water is just barely trickling out of the sink. And you're over here trying to bird bath yourself. Whew. Man, I could think of a whole lot of other things I'd rather do. So ain't nothing easy about it. And these officers that work on this wing back here, they are used to dealing with the worst people in the state of Florida. They're used to working on the wing, the cell block. The death chamber is right downstairs. I mean, they make their rounds down there all day long. You know, for a person to be able to work on this type of wing, you got to understand that their mindset's different than a lot of people. Their mindset's different than a lot of the officers that work on the other compounds or other wings. They're used to dealing with just misery, hatred, anger, death, putting people to death, beating people to death. So the officers that you're dealing with, they're unlike any of the other officers that you're going to come in contact with at all the other compounds in the state of Florida. So that's pretty much it. There's not a lot to talk about when you're in maximum management. I spent a few months back there. I don't remember the exact time. During that time, I was introduced to Siddha Yoga program. I spent a lot of time learning to control my thoughts, learning to understand that regardless of what's happening, no matter what officer comes to work, no matter how they're acting, no matter if they put us off in pitch black, no matter if this crazy maniac is beside me, banging, screaming, kicking, acting like a fool, none of this shit matters. If they bring me an air tray, if they bring me a loaf, and that's going to be another video where they create this loaf of food. I have no idea what this stuff is. It's like they just take a bunch of crap out of the garbage and put it together and heat it up, and it just becomes a hard brick that they feed you. No matter if they give me a loaf to eat, or if they give me an air tray that has no food on it, if they don't shower me, when I say shower me, I mean cuff me up, escort me down to the shower, uncuff me, let me take a shower for about 45 seconds. I don't mean them physically shower me. They ain't spray me down with a water hose or anything. But if they don't do that, if they do nothing but give me a hard time, I was learning to control my thoughts, and I began to understand that nothing matters what's going on outside of me. What does matter is how I respond, how I react to that. What matters is what I think about what's going on, because I had an option to think either negative or positive. And I learned to be able to smile at everything that was going on. I learned to be able to control my thoughts and just visualize myself anywhere in the world that I wanted to. And when I started to learn that, it started to make this time back here much easier. And thanks to the guy that was beside me, Tommy Dwight England, that shot over that city yoga program and created the biggest pivotal point in my thinking during my entire time. Thanks to him for shooting that over to me, because that's what allowed me to be able to navigate all of solitary confinement for 2.5 years. And still be able to come out of it, put together, still be able to come out of it and be able to live my life as I'm doing right now, and not totally crazy like this dude that was beside me. You know, like I said, it was breaking people, it was killing people. But there's just not a lot to talk about on CM Maximum Management. On the next video, be sure to check in, because I'm gonna do another video and tell you about the different levels of CM 1, 2, and 3. And now when I made it all the way down to CM 3, they actually let me become a runaround. And that's where I'm going to tell you about my hustle that I had going on while I was at FSP, where I was actually making money while I was on solitary confinement. It's crazy. Crazy to think that here I am for an escape charge. These people still gave me a job, let me work in the hallway, and I'm out here making money in this hallway. I'll tell you about it on the next video, and we'll break down all the levels and then what this hustle was that I had. So with that, man, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for riding with me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the love and support that I got from this last video. Greatly appreciate you all. Hey, can't say enough. Everybody keep their head up. No matter what you are going through, know this. It's only what you think about it. It's only what you choose to think about it. Don't let outside shit influence your thinking. Don't let nothing control your mind. Keep your head up, stay strong, and much respect.